that, and welcome to our first Command Your Business session. We've got an absolutely incredible jam-packed day for you. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I see a lot of you in chat. Please, if you haven't already, drop your name and the area that you serve. We've got agents representing all 43 of our market centers in the region, North Carolina and South Carolina. So a really great opportunity for some referral business. So just before we jump in, I would love to introduce myself. My name is Sydney Seymour. I'm the regional technology trainer for the Carolinas region, and I have the absolute privilege of serving all of the Carolinas region, North Carolina and South Carolina, 43 market centers with your tech journey and implementation of Command and consulting around that. And one of my absolute favorite things that I get to do is hang out with, in my humble opinion, the best market center tech trainers in all of the Keller Williams ecosystem. So I'm so excited to spend some time with them today. We've got 4 absolutely incredible market center tech trainers that are going to be with you guys today, walking you through Command. We're really going to look at this as a purposeful, intentional way of how can you use Command in your business. So before we jump on in, I just wanted to share something, and I think a lot of you have probably seen this, and I will drop this in chat. However, I want you to think about this. I'm going to share my screen, and I want you to think about this as we're going through everything today, because so often I think sometimes we think of technology as one other thing. So do me a favor, drop in chat if you don't love technology. So just drop a yes or a no. Yes, I love technology. No, technology is maybe not your favorite thing. Okay, so we have some yes, we have, okay, you're in the right spot. Okay, and we have some no's, right? And I think that's okay. I think sometimes we hear no's because sometimes we feel like it's one more thing. Okay, 50-50, I appreciate that. It's one more thing sometimes that it feels like you have to learn. So here's what I'm gonna ask of you. As you go through this today, I don't want you to think of Command and what we're going to cover as one more thing that you have to learn. I want you to think of it as an addition to your business, specifically as an addition to your lead generation model. And so a lot of you have probably seen this before. This is the lead generation model. This is the funnel that's in the MREA book. And this is really at its core what Command was built off of. So Command was built to say we need to be prospecting and marketing based. And then we need to capture those leads. We need to take those leads and turn those into contacts and have that two-way relationship with them. Then we need to cultivate them to an appointment for either selling a property or purchasing a property. Then we move them into the active purchasing or selling, under contract, closed. And then you'll see we just take that right back up to the top, that then they're contacts, and we're able to continue to really cultivate them and make sure that they're a client for life. So here's what I ask of you. Take this today, and we're so excited that you're here, and think of this funnel as we're going through everything. And I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, it helps me a little bit to have an actual contact in mind as we're going through this. We've got a contact that we're going to share with you that I bet nobody has in their database. So stay tuned for that. But think of maybe a lead or a contact, and think of, as everybody is going through their session today, think of, how could I actually use this in my business? So I will drop this in chat just so that you guys have this to be able to reference as well. Before we jump on in, just a couple of things housekeeping wise, you guys, I'm going to make sure that I am monitoring chat the entire time. So if you've got any questions, if you want to shoot them to me either privately if you have a question, or if you want to put that out to the group, we would love that. We want to make this as engaging as we possibly can. I will also be dropping a couple links in chat as soon as I turn it over to the first co-host. Those will be the following: a link to our regional YouTube channel, because this is being recorded. So if you weren't able to stay for all of it, you wanted to jump back in and see something else, we'll have all of that processed by end of this week, and we'll have all of that uploaded. I will also drop a link to our regional Facebook page. So a lot of you might have found this workshop by visiting that Facebook page. That's where we'll post, as a region, all of our upcoming classes, anything that we have going on. So I'll post that in there as well. And then the final link that I'll post in chat, and this is something that we would love for you to take time to fill out at the end of each session or at the end of the day, if you can stay for the entire day. we want to hear from you. So we want to hear, what did we get right? What should we improve upon? What do you want to see in the future? Because the hope and the theory is that this is not the last one. So love to hear that from you. So I will drop all three of those in the chat in just a moment. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the first co-host of the day. You guys are in for a real treat with this. So we've got Chris Cox, who is the Market Center Tech Trainer, as well as the Dean of Education. He wears many, many hats for the Wilmington and Myrtle Beach Market Centers with KW Innovate. So Chris Cox, they are yours. Welcome to the party.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. So yes, as Sydney said, I am the Market Center Tech Trainer and running the education and training program here for both the Wilmington and Myrtle Beach Market Centers. Just a little bit about myself. I've been in real estate since 2008. So I was actively selling a lot until 2017. Where I moved to North Carolina and then transitioned into more of a team leadership, leading a team, and then transitioned into market center leadership. What I am excited to talk about today is your database and building that, because as a natural introvert that I am, meeting new people and constantly meeting new people is really exhausting for me. So I instead focus on building the relationships and focus and really maintaining those relationships. In fact, as I mentioned, I'm out of production for the most part right now, but I was able through maintaining those relationships to be able to still reach my cap just on referring past clients out to other partners in the area. So, and that's just from using a database to do that. So, as I said, I am really excited to get going with this today. But the goals for what I have, again, are to talk about the database. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here. And if you can go ahead and drop that first poll, Sydney, just want to get a gauge before we really dive in, just kind of who our audience is that is on the call. So Sydney, if you can drop that first poll there, that will be fantastic. Just kind of let us know how long you've been with Keller Williams, how long, and what app in Command are you most familiar with, just to get a good feel for our audience here as I go ahead and get ready to share my screen. So we'll give about 30-45 seconds for that poll out there. Seeing about half the people have done it so far, so that's awesome. Seeing a good mix for sure. So as I mentioned, I really do feel that the database is really the foundational piece of everything that we have out there. If you want, I can go ahead and share the results just to kind of see. We got a good mix of everybody out there. So really a great mix of the experience. So a lot of people from that 1 to 4. Same with the less than 1 year, 5 to 10. So a really great mix. So that's awesome to see. So that means, those people that are less than 1 year, you can see that there are still people that are out there wanting to learn and be learning based in their business. So we do have a really good mix on there. So that's awesome. And then what app are you most familiar with? Not surprisingly, we do have opportunities as leading the way because as most of us know, that's the way you get paid. So not surprising that is the one that does lead the way there. So so you guys are in for a treat then when you get down to smart plans and designs. As those seem to be where some opportunities are there to get a little more comfortable with that. So stay tuned as we go through the day. But as I said, with contacts in the database, it really is the foundation, because without that, you really can't do any of the other things. So thank you for your participation in that. So really the goals for today with the building the database in Command is we're going to go through step by step and how to add a contact in Command. We're going to talk about the importance of the database health score, not just adding people to Command, but just showing how important and to have relevant information is on people. We're going to demonstrate how to use some smart filters and views to really fine tune and segment your database so that you're making relevant communications with people. And then we're going to just finish off with some secret weapons that we have in there that I feel that a majority of the agents in our ecosystem are not taking full advantage of. So that is my goal for the next half hour or so to really take you through. Are there any questions or anything in the chat so far, Sydney?
Just excitement.
Awesome. So we are going to, again, start, like I said, we're going to start with adding a contact. So for those of you who aren't 100% familiar with or comfortable with technology, all of these on the left-hand side are the applets. Each one of them has its own little function. I am going to be focusing my time today on the database, which is contacts. Little pro tip here, if you don't know what any of these little applets are, if you click on the KW at the top left, it does expand the menu there so you can see what those are. So as I said, we're going to hone in on the contacts. And from here, we are going to first show you how to add a contact. And then we're going to move into the dashboard there. So the first place you'll go to add a contact is going to be up in the top right-hand side. We're going to, as we progress through with some of those secret weapons, there are ways, as you'll see here, to import mass. But what we're going to go through is just adding one at a time. I think there's upside and downside to both ways of that. I would highly recommend, if you have the time and the bandwidth, to start chunking your database down and adding them one at a time, manually or in small chunks, so that you can make sure that you have the most accurate and relevant information in there. So on the right-hand side, you'll see the plus add contact, and it's going to pull up your first little sub menu here. Now we have, as Sydney alluded to, we have a little fun contact that we're going to be playing through the command funnel today as we go through there. So the only information that is required when you add a contact is going to be their full name. As you go through any of the fields in command, you'll notice this asterisk on many fields within command. Anything with the asterisk means it is a required field. So we have Captain Marvel is going to be the person that we are adding to the database today. And we are going to add an email address. So again, the more information you're able to add here, the more relevant contact and communication you'll be able to have with them. So as I mentioned, the only thing that is required is the name. So I could go in here and I could create that person, and they are in the database. So to find that person, to get back into them, I'm just going to start searching in the little search bar here. And you'll see Captain Marvel there. Now, why I saved it and went out and went back in is I wanted to show and start having the first conversation around the database health score. So what Keller Williams has done in building the command database is we put together a database health score, which basically says how much information that they consider relevant do we know about this person. So in the chat, Sydney is going to drop an article to an answers.kw.com article that goes over what exactly the components are that make up the database health score. The most important components are going to be name, email address, phone number, and physical address. That makes up 80% of the 100% score. What we shoot for when we're training people is we want to get at least everybody in a database. We're looking for a database health score of at least 60%. Obviously, higher is better, but 60% is probably name, phone number, and email address. If you have at least those three, you're on a good trajectory to make sure that you're getting the most out of your database. So as you can see for Captain Marvel here, we only have a database health score of 20% because all we have added is the name. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding some other relevant information, and you'll see how that score rises. So I'm going to go back into the pencil here and hit edit. So I have a conversation with Captain Marvel, and she gives me a little bit more information. She tells me that her email address is sydney@kw.com. Clever one there. And she gives me a phone number that we just made up. And she is my lead source, is my database. So I am going to go ahead and add that as a lead source by creating a custom source. So you can create custom sources on the fly. And I've gone ahead and done that as a lead source, hopefully. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it again. Now you will see that my database health score for this person has now gone up to 60% because I have added the phone number and the email address. So again, now I have relevant information that I'm able to start communicating with this contact with my database with information that they're hopefully going to, that's going to help them and be relevant to what they want to know, basically where they're at in their life cycle. So that is just again, that core that I wanted to start with. But there's a lot more that you can add to that. So I'm going to go back into edit again. And I am going to go and start adding some tags. So a tag is basically a label and a great way to segment your database so that you can identify what you know about certain people in your database. So as you start building your database out, you'll want to start developing a tagging system that is what you know about those individuals. Example, past clients, sphere of influence. You can start using things like the DT, D2 labels, tags as ways to communicate with your database. But I'm going to say that Captain Marvel is a past client of mine. So I start typing, and you can start typing anywhere in that search bar, and it's going to pull up anything with that in it. And I have created a tag called past client. I'm going to go ahead and add that to them. I'm going to go ahead and save it again. And you'll see that the health score went up 4%, a little bit more. So it's a little bit more, it's adding a little bit more because we have more information. So that is one of those 4%ers that make up the rest of the database health score that we did drop in the chat. So I'm going to go back in one more time, and I'm going to go start adding some more information. So that's really that first page of the contact card. Now we've add more information. And that's going to pull up these other submenus here. The first one is going to be additional contact information. Now I can add additional emails, additional phone numbers. Where I'm going to focus in on is primary address. So this is that final component of the big four that we look for, and that is a primary physical address. So we have one that has come up, and you'll notice as you start typing, it does pull in addresses. It's pulling from Google Maps and Google Earth information to pull this information in. So I'm going to go ahead and just start typing one, and we're going to get there. So we've got 1400 Beacon Street, Boston, Massachusetts. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see that it's added that to the profile. And if I were to save it again, you would see that contact health score would jump up a lot more, significantly more, to 84% is where it would go to that. But we're not done here. You can also add social media profiles. This is a great tool. Where I love to use this is if I'm doing my DT, D2 calls, I pull up my letters for that week. And that I can say, okay, I'm on A and E. I pull up all my A's for that week, which we'll go into when we show you some filtering a little bit later on the dashboard. And I can start, for lack of a better word, social media stalking people, see before I make their call, see what's going on in their life. So the easy way to go about and do that is you would go to Facebook. And in this case, I am going to just search for Captain Marvel. And if I click onto the profile, that is going to bring me into this URL up here. That is the URL that I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to paste that into the social media profile. So that's the second page of the contact card. That is the additional contact information. And then we have some additional information under About, where you can start adding more to the health score of the person. The next two components that are going to be really important are going to be the birthday. So you can put their birthday information in there. So we have a birthday for Captain Marvel of April 24th, 1965. If you ask me how I know that, I will not claim anything of where I know that from, but we'll just go with that information. You can add a home anniversary in there as well, so that you can see, and you can, again, if they purchased a home with you, you can track their home anniversary. That information will be used to trigger some smart plans, again, to stay relevant and with personalized contact information with them. And then the final component on this page is going to be the relationships. So you can link contacts together by shared relationships. So in this case, we did not add in our profile that they are linked to anybody there, but you could add, as long as that person is in your contacts already, you could start typing their information, and that would link those two together so that they would show up as a relationship. That becomes more relevant as you begin to create opportunities and communicate with them a little further down the road. So you can add relationships there. And then you can, on the left-hand side, you can choose, is this a spouse, father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sibling, all these different relationships that they have there on the left-hand side. And then of course, other. So the final component on the about page is going to be you can add their work information. So this becomes, in my opinion, this is probably the trickiest bit of information to get to that 100% health score, is to get their work information on there. So if you know where they work, again, you can start typing it. So we do hopefully have Marvel as a company name there, and her job title is superhero. So all of that stuff would make a clean contact card. The final component is going to be custom. This is where you can add some custom fields that you have. Maybe you want to track their dog names, what type of pizza toppings they like. You can go in here and you can add a custom field. And I would say pet names is one that I've already created. So I would say pet names, and we'll say that Captain Marvel has a pet name of Bogey, and I'm going to go ahead and save that information. Now you can see I got up to a 96% health score for that person. Sydney, what did I miss there to get to 100? What did I miss? What did I not say? Oh, the anniversary.
Anniversary, let's see. Yep, home anniversary should take you A+.
So we'll say she bought last year on January 2nd. We're not at 100% yet. There we go. It was a lead. It didn't save my lead source. So do we have any questions so far? So that's how you create a contact. Again, the more information you have about a contact, the more relevant you'll be able to stay with that person. So as you progress through the day today, you'll start seeing how we'll use the contact card and the contact to really start driving the smart plans, the opportunities, not as much the campaigns as for adding new people to it, but definitely for the smart plans and the opportunities. Are there any questions in the chat so far, Sydney?
So we've been answering them as they came in, but I'd love to hear from you. We had some questions of like, how do you use a lead source versus how do you use a custom tag? So anything that you care to add about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I prefer the custom tag as a way to really segment my list, because that custom tag is going to be a way to drive communication with them. As you'll see when we go through some bulk actions on the dashboard, you'll be able to segment your list by that tag, and you'll be able to communicate them with that information that you know about them. So as you begin to start thinking about your tagging system, don't just start with, I mean, you're going to start with your past client, your sphere, A's, B's, C's, however you start building that. But really, I would challenge you to really start adding things more of what you know about those people. Like you'll see one of the examples I'll use on there. I have my mother's tag. So the people that I know are mothers are tagged as parent mother, and then I have parent father. That is so I can use that information to communicate with them on Mother's Day and Father's Day in a relevant communication way. So I prefer tags to do that as opposed to the lead source. I think it has a lot more functionality. Anything else?
Just another question. I don't know if you have a contact that you want to pull up, but some people had a question when it just appears different sometimes when a contact is attached to you via the consumer app or via the website. There's almost like a verified check mark. So if you just wanted to, if you have a contact, maybe show how that shows up.
I do. Yep. So we have, I should have a couple in here. I think I might even be one. Okay, there we go. So yes, so on the in the contact card, you will see some people with a couple different identifiers on here. So if they are with an L, with a green circle with an L in it, that means they came into your database as a lead, or they're marked as a lead. And then you will also see another green check mark means they are connected to you via your agent app. So again, that becomes segmentable information as well. So you can segment your database on just people who are connected with your app. So that is another great way to, it doesn't affect the health score at all, but it does affect how you can visually see them. So you can very easily see on your dashboard who is connected to your app and who are leads in your database. Great question, thank you. All right, so finishing up on the contact card here, you will see, so I'm just gonna stay in focus here in the contact card. So now we've built it all out. I take the contact card and I break it into two parts. So on the left-hand side is all the information that we know about this person. It's kind of what I call like the demographic information. So we have all that information on this person, including the neighborhood, additional contact information. You can scroll through and you can see all that information at a glance there. You can edit it again on that left-hand side, and then some additional options with this little meatball menu, for lack of a better word, we're gonna call that. You can add this person right to a smart plan this way. You can change the account. That only shows up if you're on a team. So if you're on a team, you can move it over, push it to the team account as opposed to the personal, or back and forth. You can unsubscribe or resubscribe the contact, and you can archive the contact. Then on the right-hand side of the contact card is kind of your timeline and your interactions with this person. So you'll see this kind of reads on the left-hand side like a Facebook feed or like a social media feed. It's going to start with your most recent activity, and it's going to scroll, as I scroll through all of this stuff, as you'll see, even though I just added this person right now, I had added this person previously. So you'll see all the interactions that you've had with that contact. Any houses they've looked at will also show up there. I'll go back to another contact for that. You can see any opportunities that you have with this person, with this contact. You can see what smart plans they're currently on, any tasks that you have assigned to them, any notes, and then we'll get into some secret weapons there with those saved searches on that. So that is the contact card. And really, again, this is used to drive to drive the relevant contact information. So as we finish off that section there, we're going to move into the dashboard. I like to, when I'm training this, I go to adding a contact before I go to under a review of the dashboard, because I think it has a little bit more, meat to it when you have a little more information. So now we're going to switch gears and go to the contact dashboard. So on the contact dashboard, you will see a lot of different features here, including what we started talking about, a lot of segmentation that you can do. You can create save filters and smart. You can create smart views, which are essentially saved filters. It's kind of saved views of your database. So on the dashboard here, you can search by pretty much anything that's in there. So if I wanted to search by phone number, email address, like if I just start typing in this search bar, maybe start typing Sydney, anybody who has that in there as an email address. So even though the contact name is Captain Marvel, Sydney is her email address, it was able to search by that. So you can search by name, you can search by phone number, you can search by email address. Great ways to, if you don't know exactly, I do this quite frequently. If I get a text message from someone that isn't in my phone, I search in here to see if I know who this person is. I just never saved their contact information to my phone. So you can search by phone number in there. So that is the first thing that I wanted to go over there. We're going to go back to filters and smart views. I just want to finish off with the actual dashboard here and the views here. So most of these fields are sortable. So if I click on name as an example, I can sort by first name. I can sort by last name A to Z. I can sort by first name A to Z, first name Z to A, last name A to Z, and last name Z to A. So I click on any of those, it's going to then change the order of that. And now my last name A's are going to show up at the top of the list. Many of the other fields are just sortable by ascending and descending order. So if I click on a recently active, it's going to show me who is the most recently active on my database. In fact, I got some people in there in the future. That's impressive. And then you can also see all of the information to the right is going to be, so anything on this column that has a little up arrow is a sortable kind of column. You can also customize your column. So if you don't like where the information is viewed, you can go in here and customize columns. In there, let's say I want to add, on the left-hand side, these are all the columns that are available. So if I want to add a birthday, I can check that off. What that did is on the right-hand side, it now added that. And now I can say, you know what? I really want date of birth to show up towards the top. I want phone number to show up at the very top. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to drag it all the way to the top. And I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. Now what you will see is my primary phone number showed up first, and then my date of birth now moved into here. So you can get this all sorted and filtered and segmented, customize the columns on there the way you want them to view. You can also change the view of how they show up. So if I click on the grid, the contact cards will show up a little differently, maybe. I think my computer on Zoom is getting a little tired right now. But you can change the way that the view of the contact card. So now instead of that more like database view, now I've got the contact card view. So what this does, it does give me a little bit more of that left-hand side of the contact card in the view, as opposed to more information going across. And then the last thing on the dashboard here, as far as the columns go, is this: you can change the number of people that are viewing in your view. So it kind of defaults at this 10 people. I quickly learned to change that because I want to get a lot more than 10 people on my screen at one given time. So if you just click on that, you can change it up to 500. Now, I will add a little pro tip here. If you notice that your system may be running a little slow sometimes, it can be because it's pulling in 500 people at a time. That's something that I've learned, not as much recently. That was more in the early days of Command, to just filter that back down to 10 and see if that sped anything up. So heading back up to the filters, as I skipped those before, you can also filter your database based on, filter your view. So as you can see, I am at 1,049 contacts, but I'm gonna go up to my filters and I'm gonna say, you know what? On here, you have all of these filters that are available. You can filter by people who are just tagged with that lead, the lead source, when they were created. That is a great option, because you can do within the last and longer than the last. Same thing with when it was modified, recently active, date of birth. This is a good one if you want to run a report, like say the first of the month, and you want to run your birthday report, so you can start sending birthday cards out to people. You can run that. That's going to say within the next 30 days. So that's going to show you everybody a filtered list of people who are just within the next 30 days. You can also sort by out there branded to you, or filter by if they're branded to you, and all of that information. So anything on that screen is a filter. The one that I find myself using the most is going to be tags. So I'm going to go ahead and use that past client tag. And I am going to then apply the tag in the bottom right corner. Now you'll see my database went down from 1,049 to 96. So now I have a filtered list of just my past clients. I have made some columns the way I wanted to have them set up. Now I'm going to go in here. I have the filters exactly the way I want it. I have it sorted the way I want it. I'm going to go up and create a smart view. So a smart view, again, is essentially like a saved list. So you can use them to, rather than next time I come in here, I don't have to go click on filters, all of those filters that I added. I can just go in here and instead call this past clients. And I'm going to save at smart view. Now, what I'll do just to show that working is I am going to come in here and clear all of my tags and hit apply. That should bring my database back up to 1,049-ish. Instead, I am going to my smart view and I am going to click on past clients class. That one click of the button, now I have my smart view. It's showing me all of my past clients. So that's kind of a dashboard overview for the purposes of the class time that we have today. Any questions in there or anything that I can help out with?
No, we had a couple questions. We were able to answer them, but I think smart views is really big, that there's like a fair amount of people that I think had never used them before. So you mentioned, Chris, is tags probably the biggest one that you find you're using in that?
Yeah, it absolutely is, because then I can, as we're going to go into some bulk actions after for the next activity here, that is how you can very easily just go in and send out a message to a relevant group of people. So rather than send a message out to, like, I'm just going to use the cliche one, rather than send a message out that says, hey, daylight savings time is coming up. Yay. I have one device left in my house that even requires a clock to be changed, anything like that. So that's not relevant information. But instead, you can use the bulk actions to send a message out to people based on the information you have. So absolutely, I would say the key to everything in that database and unlocking the true power of command as a database is the tags, because it can do so much.
Yeah, awesome. Nope, we're just getting lots of people are loving this, so keep going.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so we are going to Sydney, if you can drop that second poll in there as we go into just kind of showing some of the secret weapons and really the power of the database. Go ahead and have that second poll up there. That'd be awesome. So this is, again, we're talking about relevancy and how you can use database as a tool. So this is an annual report that NAR runs every year. Says, they ask, would you use or refer the same agent again? And then the second question that they ask is, according to that same survey, how many actually use the same amount, the same agent or refer them? So this is a great opportunity here. So there's two different questions. So what do you think the number of people polled said they would use that same agent? And then how many actually use that same agent? So go ahead, we'll just leave that up there for about 40-45 seconds. Love to see what you guys think. There's not really a right or wrong. It's just a shocking revelation when you see this information here. So while that is finishing up, I am just going to go clear my dashboard here again. And start showing you the bulk actions that you can do. Give it about 5 more seconds and then we'll close that up. All right, we got a smart group here today. So this is pretty good. So yeah, so the NAR says about 78%. It kind of fluctuates between 75 and 80%. So in that range of consumers that say they would use the same agent or refer that person out is about 75 to 78% is kind of where that runs. And then according to that same survey, only about 18% actually do. And I think where we lose that is we stop being consistent with our follow-up. And I really truly believe that Command can help you stay consistent with that follow-up by using some of these kind of secret weapons and power tools that the database has once you have it built there. So I'm going to go ahead and just share those results real quick there. So 32% of you were in that kind of the ballpark of where people are at. And then 42% of you were right in that sweet spot of 10 to 20% of what the NAR shows there. So interesting stuff for sure. All right, so we're gonna just finish off the contact dashboard again with some bulk actions you can do here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna show you and share a little story along with it. So as I mentioned, I have in my database past parents, mothers as a tag. So I'm gonna go in here and I am going to filter and I'm gonna start searching for tags. So I have parents dad and parents mom. I'm gonna go ahead and hit parents mom and go ahead and apply. Gets my database down to about 20 people in there. So once you have that filtered list, you can start doing some bulk actions. So if I wanted to do an action to several contacts at the same time, the bulk action is, again, one of those ways to get that done. So the way you do that is you would go up to this check mark here, and you can either check off multiple people at a time. So if I didn't want to do all 20 of these people, I could say, you know what? Yeah, she's a mom, but I don't really want to touch base with Allison there. I can uncheck her there. And I go to this select bulk action. And it's going to show you all the things that you can do in bulk activity. Some of the things that I like the most are going to be adding a tag. So let's say you're like, you know what? I know all 20 of these people are wine lovers as well. No coincidence, no judgment, nothing saying that all moms are wine drinkers. I'm just using it as an example. But you can go ahead and you can hit add tag. And if I have wine up there, I have golfers. I know I have golfers. Golfing buddies. So I can go ahead and if I select that, it would add that tag to all 19 of those people at the same time. So if you get in a place where you're really starting to clean up your database, and you want to, you have it in there, and now your next action is to clean it up. You can do that with adding bulk tags at the same time. You can also use that same bulk action to remove tags. This becomes really powerful for people that may have got a little tag happy when Command first started and they started adding tags for what they had for breakfast that day and all those crazy things that really not became relevant information. You can do that same thing and remove tags. What this will do is it will, of that list that you have, it'll pull up all of the tags that are in that list, and you can actually remove multiple at the same time. I was so glad when this feature came out because I was definitely one of those people who started going tag crazy on everybody, and that was able to, to start removing those tags and really clean the database. So you can do all of these bulk actions here. You can mark it as a lead. You can add to a smart plan on the fly. So you can add all 19 of these people to a smart plan and run that smart plan at that same time. You can also export this information into a CSV file. Say you were exporting these contacts to a different database, you could export just this segmented list. You can also export mailing labels if you have the information for the primary address for those people, and you can also export the mailing labels. The last option on there is change account. That is going to be one that you only see for agents that are on teams. You can move, and you have the ability to do so. You'll be able to move contacts from back and forth from the team as long as you own those contacts. So where I really love this and kind of where I wanted to show you this example is I have this tagged list. What I did is this Mother's Day, I sent out a bulk action, a bulk text message. So I went into select bulk action and I hit send text message. It's going to pull up the text message editor. Now I will also add that you do need to have a Twilio account to get this done. So you would need to be connected to Twilio to send a text message through that. If I scroll through all the people that are on there, it's going to get me to this add message. So I would just add a message, but I would like happy Mother's Day. Hope you have a great day. I can really type today. Enjoy your next coffee on me. And then what I did is I took a picture of my Starbucks card where I had preloaded $75 on it. And I was able to drag that photo in here. So you can add a photo if you send a bulk text message out this way through Twilio. You can add a photo that is up to 5 megabytes. So I dropped that screen capture of my QR code that's on my Starbucks app, and I sent this message out to all of the moms that were in my database. Well, little did I know that one of the moms in my database was going through a divorce, and I was able to help them buy the house as a couple before. Now I've moved out of state. I was able to refer that opportunity through to my business partner in Rhode Island, and we were able to get a referral again just by staying relevant and contacting, staying consistent with my communication to them. So you would then go ahead and verify and send, and then that would send that message off, and that'll send. I do like to add this part with Twilio. And this is why I love this. This sends individual messages to all of them, even though it's in a group. It's not, thank God, it's not a group text message. So it does send individual messages to these. I'll also add to that, if you're going to send this a text message out to a lot of people, be prepared for a lot of responses. So make sure you're not sending out 700 at the same time. There's some safeguards in place for you on that. As you'll see here, they do recommend that you don't send out to more than 200 daily people, individual daily people. Now, if they respond back and forth, that still counts, and you can still count that as one unique recipient on there. So that is kind of secret weapon number one there, is that bulk action. I love that because it's a great way to bulk add smart plans, bulk text message, and this functionality that you can do using that you can't do in the smart plan, sending a text message. Example, putting the picture on the text message. So I just got a couple minutes here. Just a couple final things I wanted to show as far as secret weapons go. So in any of your contact cards, and I am absolutely floored by the number of people that I communicate with on a regular basis that did not know that you can do this inside of Command. The first one is going to be saved searches. So if you have someone that is in, they're a prospect, a lead, you can actually set them up on a saved search from Command. If they're connected to your app or on your agent site, it will send them regular communications there. And I think is that the second? Yeah, that's the second answers article that we have queued up for today for my session. So it's going to give you step-by-step on how to do that. But if you go to save searches, go to create save search. You can set up a save search based on 3 different ways. You can set it up to a neighborhood. You're limited to only one neighborhood, so you can't set up multiple neighborhoods for this type of search. That is pulling from next door. So if they're in a next door neighborhood, that is what that is connected to. So that is our partnership, Keller Williams, with Nextdoor. You can pull in, again, a single zip code, or the one that I love that they got this right, is the custom. That is where you can draw on a map and you can create a custom search in multiple towns, multiple areas for people. You go ahead and draw on map. And I'm going to say Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You click on the little drawing tool and you create this little area here. You go ahead and hit apply. You can then set up the rest of your search criteria: minimum price, maximum price, any amenities, the type of properties you want, bedrooms, bathrooms, kind of your standard search criteria. My little pro tip here is this works, in my opinion, for about 98% of the people that you're going to set up on the search. If they're looking for something super duper specific that isn't one of those criteria that they can filter out on here, this won't work for that kind of segment of that source type of saved search. But for about 98% of people, it's going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then you just name this search. A little, again, pro tip that I'll add here: make sure you don't put something demeaning about the client in the saved search title, that will show up for them on their end. So don't put Liz's fantasy search for a house that will never exist here. Make sure you put Liz's home search, Liz's move, whatever information is there. Then you'll send email notifications, and you can choose instant, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And then you hit create save search. They immediately get an email from you that says Chris Cox has set up a save. Well, they don't all say that, they say your name. But it says a save search has been set up for you. And then depending on the frequency that you set up, they will start receiving those. And if they're connected to your agent site or app. So that's kind of secret weapon number one. Just by a quick drop in the chat there, how many people knew that you could set up a saved search in Command? Awesome. So as usual on that is one of those secret weapons that is out there. So awesome. So hopefully you learned something out of that. The second secret weapon that we have is this brand new import wizard that works phenomenally. In the first few years of Command, adding contacts was a little bit of a challenge in my opinion, because you had to get an exact file format to be able to import it. Now they have released a new import wizard. If I go up to import, you can drag a file in here. And I believe I do have one ready. Nope, that's not the one. Never likes these files for me. I'll just put it in there. But you can drag a file in there, and then basically you are mapping your fields out to basically, instead of having to have it in an exact file format, which is what this download template used to be, now you can say, you know what, they call this first name. I want to map it to first name. They call this labels. I want to map that to tags instead. So you basically take the file from your other database. You say, this is what they call it here. And then on the right-hand side is what you want to map that field to in Command. So this is a great tool, again, to import multiple contacts at a single time. Again, my recommendation is don't take 7,000 people from your phone and just dump them entirely into Command. Take them. My suggestion would be to filter them outside of Command and then import only the ones that you want to stay in communication with, or that you have full contact information to, into Command. So I think that's everything that I had on my agenda for today to get you really that strong foundation with Command. I just want to take the last couple minutes here to just share some ahas, takeaways, recaps. What you got?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind. I wasn't listening when you did the smart plan thing. The one that you kind of like uploaded the Happy Mothers something.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go back there again?
Yeah. So in here, I have the segmented list. So this isn't just my past clients that are, they also happen to be, most of them happen to be past clients, but they're parents, moms. I'm going to go up to select bulk action. And this is actually not a smart plan that I did. I did a send text message.
Okay.
And then from there, I created my text message and I added the image there.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I know I went about a few minutes late here because there was supposed to be a little bit of gap in between here, but we wanted to make sure that we went through everything on there. So what did you guys learn today?
I like the last one that you know, the secret weapons.
The secret weapons, I love them. Thank you. Yeah, the save search is really, really big because it for most of our MLSs that I have come up against, the mobile apps aren't that great about them through them. So it's a great option. Again, I would say for a large super majority of your contacts and your saved searches can be done through command. Awesome. Well, I thank you guys very much for the opportunity to talk to you about the database and the importance of really setting that foundation. And you guys are going to learn a lot from Jeffrey as he gets us going with the next section here. I believe you're doing smart plans, right, Jeffrey?
I am.
Yes, sir. So hopefully that sets the foundation for you.
Awesome, Chris. That was so good. Thank you. Chat was blowing up. You can take a look at what everybody as far as their ahas. So thank you. So nice to just hear like tips and tricks from everyone and little secrets around that. So thank you guys. So we are going to pause the recording for just a moment. I'm going to just